citizens are banked, prioritized, employed, and remunerated. What do I mean by that? I mean, we need to have skills inventories in our countries. It is rather fortuitous that on this call this morning, on this panel and series this morning, is Dr. Neville, Dr. Ulrich Trott, who is, I mean, a virtual pioneer in this thing. And I'm sure he would allow me to tell tales out of school in that when the GCF funding first came about, Neville approached me and a couple other colleagues and said, we really need to be able to put together proposals to do this thing, because he recognized that there was a level of expertise resident in the region that could tackle it. But we soon found out that, hey, this is going to take more than just the ability that we have in here right now. I mean, as capable as some of the other people were, don't judge the capabilities on my level, right? We had people like Arlington Chesney and so involved. But it became very, very, very clear to us that we needed to have some sort of capacity building aspect to these GCF applications, because as complicated as they seemed in the very beginning, we have found out that, you must find mechanisms to increase that capacity, the potential to develop that skill. So I'm saying that in SIDS, every effort should be made to utilize the potential within their citizenry. And the readiness grants and some other aspects of GCF operations have been put in place, including the project program facilitation unit, project preparation facilitation unit, and those kinds of things. So I hope you have seen the progression in terms of where I'm going with disability and capacity. So those of you who were on Tuesday would know that I attempted to approach the climate justice milieu in 4 distinct ways. There was a distributive aspect to the climate justice, and where you're determining who gets what, and I had proposed CSAC and there. In terms of procedural, determining how fairly people are treated, we went to just transition on Tuesday. Retributive, in other words, the punishing aspect, the common taxation, that was fair as well. And then there was the restorative, which has to do with restoring to rightness. And I pointed out on Tuesday, and those of you who weren't here, you could probably look at the recording and you'll see, just how I attempted to deal with that. But my perspective on all of this is that climate justice is about the mobilization of goods and services. I mean, we could say it's about funding and all that, but the funding is going to be used for goods and services. When a country accesses grant or other funding from an agency, a multilateral agency, or international agency, if you get $1 million, you don't get that $1 million to just put it into the central bank and leave it there. You're going to be buying goods and services. And one of the telltale things about justice, especially climate justice, is that it must not only be done, it must be seen to be done. And when you find yourselves in situations where, again, to go back to analogy that I wouldn't have time to explain again, but I mentioned on Tuesday, if there are people who dug the pit in the first place, now that I've fallen into it, I'm taking money that was given to me, granted to me, because of some sort of justice in connotation. And I'm paying those same people who dug the pit in the beginning to show me how to come out of this pit. And I'm buying goods and services, especially professional and technical services from them. So they're literally double dipping in my opinion. So I'm saying that in a case like that, justice is not being done, and it doesn't appear to be done, because when I look back at the perpetrators, as it were, it's almost, I mean, without being crude, it's like taking somebody to court who slashed you, in public. You're walking down the road minding your own business. Somebody came up and slashed you unprovoked. You go to court and you win a settlement. And that settlement, you have to use that settlement to pay the guy who turns out to be a surgeon, to stitch you back up. I mean, somehow, something doesn't sit right with that. Here, when you think, you're getting your just desserts, and then the same person who caused the problem is coming to help you fix it now. And then, of course, most importantly, and I'm exactly on the 20-minute mark, most importantly is that climate justice is an intergenerational issue, hence the upcoming panel. And folks,